What's going on, people in YouTube land? Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's brand new video. And today's video is an exciting one. It is the second video, that's right, the second video in the Celebration Week series for my 3-year anniversary on YouTube. That's right, I've been here 3 years, 3-year birthday, celebration, anniversary, whatever you want to call it. And this is the video that you guys helped put together. This is the crowd participation video. This is the first annual Q&A video for the channel. That's right, you guys sent me a ton of questions and I've got some answers for you. And since these questions were very random, they're kind of all over the place. There's stuff about my regular life, stuff about my band, stuff about this channel, stuff about my opinion. I decided to kind of put them into different sections, and we came up with 4 different areas of questions here. We have, first up, general life stuff, where I'll just be talking about general life stuff not exactly related to the channel, but you guys wanted to know about me. And then we have Nightsabers, my band that I'm in that a lot of you know about, and I'm surprised I got questions about it on this channel, but you guys are curious about some things related to Nightsabers, and that's great. And then after that we have general music, stuff that's, you know, all over the place musically, my opinions on records and things of that nature. And then we're gonna finish it up with the grand finale, Kiss related stuff, because we all know that's the most popular topic on this channel, and I'm gonna put it there at the end to keep you guys watching. So if you submitted a question, stick the video out because I'm going to answer all of them. But let's start the first one off with something that doesn't really fall into any of those categories, with a hot topic, a current topic, a topic that I was going to do a whole video on, but then I kind of fell behind and it's already a little bit out of the news zeitgeist, so to speak, but I still want to talk about it because I had 3 people ask me about it, and that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2020 inductees. So let's look at this list here. I have it here of who got inducted. We have Whitney Houston leading the pack. We have 9 Inch Nails, Notorious B.I.G., Depeche Mode, Doobie Brothers, and T-Rex. And those are not all rock bands, obviously. Whitney Houston in particular is not a rock artist, and definitely no Notorious B.I.G. as far as that goes, but the Hall of Fame isn't even really the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore. It should probably be renamed the Popular Music Hall of Fame, or just the Music Hall of Fame, because we have so many bands that aren't rock bands, and you know, they every year don't induct a lot of the bands that deserve it. So if we go back to my video where I talked about the inductees, or the class members that were possibly going to be inductees, I wanted Thin Lizzy, T-Rex, Motorhead, Notorious B.I.G., Pat Benatar, and Judas Priest. So we got 2 of them in there that I wanted, and I know it was kind of a controversial opinion, especially when I said Notorious B.I.G. deserved to be in there, but I figured if they have rap and hip-hop artists, why not have them in there? So for the ones they picked, it's whatever. I mean, 9 Inch Nails is a surprising one. I'm kind of glad they're in there. I know I didn't pick them on my list, but it's definitely a step in the right direction of having aggressive music in there. And Notorious B.I.G. again has definitely raised some people's you know, I don't know, their brow, so to speak. They aren't a big fan of him being in there, but you know, whatever, grow out of it. Depeche Mode's fine. Doobie Brothers I'm not a big fan of, but you know, T-Rex is definitely a good call, so I don't know, it is whatever it is. Doesn't really affect me. I wish Judas Priest would get in there just because Rob Halford wants to be in there so much, but other than that, it's whatever. So moving on, we are going to start the first official section of questions, and that's the general life stuff section. So let's kick this off with 2 questions that are very similar and made me laugh because I don't think I'm that energetic and crazy, but apparently you guys think I am, because there's 2 people that had very similar questions, and those questions are: what is the source of your delightful, hyperactive delivery? Were you an auctioneer in a previous life? And then the next one that was related to that was: do you ever drink decaf? Well, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't drink coffee, so no, I do not drink decaf, and I don't drink caffeinated either. And as far as the source of it all, I don't know, I just want to entertain you guys and entertain myself and give you something to watch and listen to and hopefully tell your friends about and all kinds of stuff, because if I was just sitting here like this, talking like this the whole time, hey, Kiss is really cool, that Vinnie Vincent guy, he's sure doing something crazy again, have you heard my band Nightsabers? You guys wouldn't care at all. That would be so boring. I mean, we could even go further down that rabbit hole. Let's just, you know, not worry about being boring, but I did find those questions pretty funny. I mean, there's not really any source for me being excited. I just want to be excited because music is fun. We're supposed to have fun on here. YouTube is fun. Let's have a fun time on here. Let's have a good time and let's enjoy what we have here. So let's check out another question. And this next one here is: I've been enjoying your channel for over a year now, and I always wondered about your name. It's quite unusual. So you want to know where my name came from? Well, my name is Chris, and I really enjoy eating kimchi. Not much else to it. It's not a lot deeper than that. I could have made myself, you know, I don't know, hot chicken Chris just as well, but it doesn't have a nice ring to it. Kimchi Chris sounds good. It's fun. It's unique here in America, at least enough that people question it. So yeah, I just really like kimchi. There's no deeper meaning to it. Quite the fan of that type of food. Let's see, what's the next one here? How old are you and what do you do for a living? That's getting too personal there, mister. But no, seriously, I do like to keep some anonymity, but I did want to read every question at least. So I can't really tell you guys exactly what I do for a living, but I do live in Nashville and I work in the music industry. We'll just leave it at that. There's a whole lot of jobs I could have within that realm, and you know, I don't want you stalkers finding me at my job. No, it's not that. It's just I don't really want people asking me about my day job. I come on here for escapism, similar to keeping things fun. I don't want to talk about my job on here, so we'll leave it at that. As far as age goes, that's another thing I would like to keep a little bit anonymous, but I'll give you a hint. I'm somewhere above, I don't know, 29 and somewhere below 39. So do the math there and you can probably kind of figure it out. And last up in the general life section, we have 2 questions from someone that I know in real life who's a real idiot. And he goes by the name of TrueAxeMTG here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. He's big on Twitch. He does magic tricks on there or something like that. If you want to check his channel out, it's one of the featured channels on my homepage. So go click on it and see what's going on with him. He's really angry and always just causing a ruckus. And his 2 questions he submitted on different platforms, of course. The first one here is, who is best girl? Well, obviously that's Joan Jett. I wrote a song about her, man. It's Joan. Always gonna be Joan Jett. Best girl for life. And the next question is, why you so ugly? Well, guys, have you seen True Axe here? I rest my case. So next up, we have questions related to Night Sabers. That's right. If you don't know what Night Sabers is or who Night Sabers are or however you want to say it, that's my band that I play in, and we do nerd pop music as we call it. Some of you guys might really like it, some of you guys might really hate it, but you should check it out because it's really, really fun. And a lot of you guys submitted questions related to the band, which I was kind of surprised by. And the first one here is, did you start writing and playing music at a very young age? No. I started a little bit later than I probably should have, and that's probably why I'm so middle of the road on talent now as far as playing and singing abilities go. I'd say I'm middle of the road on playing, a little bit below middle of the road on singing, but my writing is pretty good, and I'm a great front man because I was raised right by Paul Stanley. So with all that being said, yeah, I didn't start at an early age. I think it was like 15 or 16 perhaps. I need to do a video sometime showing you guys the first guitar that I ever owned, because it's right over there. It's just out of the shot in a case, but there's a lot of stuff on top of it right now, so I don't want to deal with it for this video, but at some point maybe I'll show you, because I think some of you guys might appreciate that, that really old school, almost BC Rich looking guitar that I had as my first guitar. And next up here, funny enough, what a segue, what is your dream guitar and the main reason? Have you had a chance to play something like it, and how did it feel for you? Well, my dream guitar in a dream world would be something that had been owned by Ace, in all honesty, or Paul, you know, the Kiss guys. Of course, there's Kiss everywhere, even when it's not even the Kiss section. That would be something amazing to own, like one of the 70s Gibsons or something like that that Ace played on stage, which were actually mostly vintage even then, but I don't know, something owned by Ace would be incredible. But if you're talking about something that I would actually play, less of a collectible and more something to play, because he did mention the playing in there, a vintage Gibson Les Paul would be great. I have a Gibson Les Paul Studio that I really love, and it's my favorite guitar that I own. My dad, or actually my parents, not my dad, he's the one who picked it out because he knows more about guitars, but my parents lovingly gave me that as a college graduation present, and it's amazing. Thumbs up all around, great guitar. But if I get a vintage one, that would be really cool. A Gretsch White Falcon would also be amazing. I haven't played one of those, but I think I would really enjoy it. My acoustic that I play as the main guitar in Night Sabers now is kind of based around that guitar, but it's not anywhere nearly as nice as a real White Falcon, of course, and they're electric as opposed to acoustic. So yeah, there's some talk about guitars that I would like to own. Something vintage from Gibson, White Falcon. Something vintage from Gretsch would be really cool too. That's a hard question to answer. That's a good question in general, I would say. The next question was funny. I laughed at it when I read it. I'm still laughing at it. As you can see, I'm having a good time on this video. And that is, will the purple-haired girl ever be in a video on this channel? Now, if you guys have followed Night Sabers at all, which again, you probably should, it's like a whole infomercial for the band right now, you would know he's talking about Zoe Saber, my partner in crime in the band, and I don't know, I would love to have her in a video on here. I'd love to show her some ridiculous stuff. Maybe show her like, you know, the Kiss Exposed video, have her react to it or something like that. That sounds way dirtier than it actually is if you're watching this, Zoe. But we could do something like that, or have her talk about some of her favorite music related to things that are kind of related to this channel. She doesn't listen to a lot of the same stuff that we talk about on the channel, but you know, maybe we'll have her on here at some point. Having her on my other channel, Anime Was a Mistake, would probably make more sense, but you know, maybe we'll have her on here. She has a fan base growing on here thanks to me, so why not have her on here? And next up, we have, what conventions are you guys playing at this year? So, we don't know yet. We really don't. We've kind of taken a little bit of an extended break, and it's funny because this is the first time I've talked about lightsabers in the public in a number of months now. Really like 2.5, 3 months, something like that. We had to take a break. Burnout was happening hardcore, as it tends to happen with me a lot. We've talked about this on the channel before. And I don't know, something is in me and I want to get lightsabers out there and start doing more stuff again, so I'm gonna really start reaching out and trying to get us booked at some cons. If you want to set a con, let me know what con it is, and you can help us get there. Reach out to the con yourself and let them know you want us to be there, and maybe let us know about it, because we would love to be at every convention we could possibly be. And anyone that's kind of far into what I'm talking about, doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about, Nightsabers plays at a lot of anime conventions, comic book conventions, nerd gatherings, and it's a really good time. They're really fun if you've never been to them. There's a lot of good bands that play at them, so check out the anime convention or nerd convention in your area, and you'll probably enjoy it. And hey, if you get us booked, there's even more reason to go. And if you suggest us one and we get it booked, and you can prove that you were the one that suggested to us and we never knew about it before, maybe we'll even put you on the guest list. So incentive for you right there. And last up, we had some people asking when Nightsabers were going to play certain cities, which is related to the last question, but the ones in question here were Chattanooga, Tennessee. I think some people definitely remember us from JampCon as well as Anime Blast, and my answer to that is I would love to come back to Chattanooga. Chattanooga has always been good to us. You guys have a pretty decent all-you-can-eat sushi lunch buffet on weekends. I can't remember what the place is called, but it was pretty great. So yeah, we'd love to come back to Chattanooga. Atlanta, Georgia. People wanted to know when we're coming back to Atlanta. I'm sure that's because of our Dragon Con appearance, where a lot of you saw us at our number of shows we had over that weekend. And yeah, we would love to come back to Atlanta and do Dragon Con again. We would love to do MomoCon, Anime Weekend Atlanta. We'd love to play just a venue in general. So let those cons know that you want us there. And this last one here doesn't have a city, but someone wanted to know when we were going to play Ohio. We've never been to Ohio, but you guys have Colossal Con and OhioCon. Am I right on that? OhioCon, is that correct? I don't know, but we would love to come to Ohio. I've only been there once in my life, and I don't even know what city it was, but I would love to go back to Ohio. It would be a blast, I'm sure. And next up, we have general music questions. These are ones that don't fall in the category of Kiss questions, because there's quite a few of those coming up, and they also don't fall into the general life or the Nightsabers or anything like that. So let's see here. The first one, I wanted to read it on here because, again, I wanted to read every question that was submitted, but I'm not going to answer it in this video, and I'm going to tell you why. The question was, what are your top 10 favorite bands? And that's amazing. That's an amazing idea for a video. Thank you, person that submitted that. I didn't put the names on here, so I'm not sure who it was. But thank you so much for submitting that question, because I'm going to turn that into a video. I might do top 20 bands or top 15. I might do top 10. Who knows? But that will be answered, and we'll put that one out soon. We'll put that one out soon. And next up, we have one that I did put the name to because this is another content creator on here, and I love her work on here. It's so cool. She puts out a lot of scary stuff, a lot of spooky stuff, and she puts Kiss-related stuff out. And she's a female putting out Kiss content online. There's not a lot of those, so you definitely want to check her out. On here, she is Horror Girl, and her channel is featured on my homepage, as well as I'll throw it up here, of course. And go check her videos out. And she wanted to know what was my favorite show I've ever attended and how it impacted me creatively and musically. And man, that is hard. That's a hard one. I'm just gonna say it's Kiss. I don't know what the best Kiss show I've ever attended was, but it was definitely Kiss. And you know, as far as impacting me creatively, musically, anything else, we kind of just talked about Nightsabers, and I mentioned how I think I'm a pretty good frontman and I'm lacking some other skills, but I really deliver at home and there. And that's how Kiss really impacted me. I mean, the flash of it all, the energy of it all, the showmanship of it all, and Paul Stanley, I mean, what a great frontman. You know, I don't like frontmen that just kind of stand there on stage, and kind of similar to what I was talking about earlier with myself, that, hey, this is our new song. I hope you enjoy it. I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to have people screaming at me like an evangelistic preacher in the style of Paul Stanley. That's what I want. So that's how it impacted me. It basically changed my whole mentality with life, music, creativity, art, all those things. So, you know, it's not an exact answer maybe that you're looking for, but I don't know. I said that I liked your channel. We'll leave it at that. Maybe we'll do a video sometime. Next up, we have something that's not exactly a question, but they put a question mark at the end, and I think that they meant for it to be a question, but it was more of a statement. But it said, talk about Randy Rhoads, maybe, question mark. That's what turned it into a question. Throwing that out there, Ozzy's 2 albums with Randy. So, I love those 2 albums. Randy Rhoads is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. I haven't talked about those because, I don't know, I don't have a good reason, but we're talking about them now. Diary of a Madman is actually one of my earliest music memories, believe it or not. That was something that my dad played for me early on in life, and it really stuck with me. The cover, the songs, the playing, I mean, I was blown away. I'd never really heard guitar playing like that. And, you know, I thought that was pretty par for the course. So when I heard some other bands down the line, I was pretty disappointed. But to this day, Diary of a Madman is my favorite Ozzy record, and of course Blizzard of Oz. You can't go wrong with Blizzard of Oz. It's amazing. It doesn't have as much of a sentimental part for me, but those 2 albums, you can't touch them. They're perfect. They're pretty much perfect records, and I've kind of ruined ever doing a review of them by saying that, but maybe I'll do a review or talk about the impact they've had on me at more length than a video down the road. But if you wanted me to talk about them, I've talked about them. There we go. And next up here we have, how many times have you seen Iron Maiden, and what's your favorite song from them? That's a very good question. I've seen them 3 times. How appropriate for the 3-year celebration video. I've seen them 3 times, and it's all been in somewhat recent years. They avoided Nashville like the plague for years, and then they came and sold the place out when Megadeth opened for them, and that was really cool. And then they came like 2 years later, and Ghost opened for them, and that was great. And then they came like 2 years after that, which was last year, and I don't remember who opened for them. It was kind of a boring band. I don't know. I didn't really like them. Maybe you guys liked them, but I didn't. But with that being said, an amazing show every time. Probably the first time I saw them was the best, because that's when they were kind of doing the 7th Son of the 7th Son tour, kind of reimagined in modern day. And as far as favorite song goes, that's really hard to pick. They have such a huge catalog and so many great songs and so many great albums that it's hard to pick a song, even an album. As far as albums go, I honestly might pick the 7th Son of a 7th Son album. I really like that one. But as far as songs, it's just too hard to pick. I'm sorry to disappoint you by not giving you a real answer to that, but I answered half the questions, so you should still be halfway happy, hopefully, with that answer. And last up on the general music questions, we have a good one here. What are some of your musical guilty pleasures? Here's the thing, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I think if you enjoy it, you should enjoy it. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. But with that being said, one that a lot of you would probably say should be a guilty pleasure, because I'm sure you don't get it, is that I really like K-pop. I really like Korean pop music, similar to the Kimchi title up there. I like Korean culture. It's cool, what can I say? But K-pop music is really fun. Now, I'm going to distinguish something very specific here. I'm more into the girl groups than the boy bands. You know, all of you know BTS at this point. BTS is a cultural phenomenon for sure, but I'm not really into them. I don't really care. Everyone's freaking out that they're playing America again, and that's great for you, and I'm really excited if you're excited to see BTS. I assume that's not most people watching this video, but for me, I'm more into, you know, Blackpink or Twice, or, you know, the older bands like Girls' Generation or Sistar and Hyuna and things like that. So I really like K-pop. Most people on here would think that's ridiculous and say it's a guilty pleasure, so I'm just gonna go with that, but I don't really believe in guilty pleasures in general when it comes to music or anything in life. And last up, we have the grand finale, the one that so many of you have probably been waiting for, and why a lot of you have probably stuck this video out. We have the Kiss-related questions. That's right. So many Kiss questions. Actually, there's not too many. It's pretty evenly spaced on all these sections, but there's still some good ones here. So first up, we have a pretty simple one. What's your favorite Kiss album cover? And I gotta say, there's a lot of great ones, and there's a lot of not great ones, but the one that I always go back to is probably being the most epic and best representation of the band, one that I really enjoy, is the Love Gun cover. It's arguably my favorite studio album, and I think it really just emphasizes and represents what Kiss was at that point in their careers and lives and creativity so well. It's a great cover, just between the band standing there and the girls below them and just the scenery in the background, and I could just stare at it for hours. It doesn't get old to me. I think it is such a cool cover, and was such a, I don't know if innovative was really the right word, because it does look like the style of a lot of those other 70s covers. Obviously, with it having the same artist as Destroyer, it's going to, and he did some other stuff like work for Manowar and things of that nature, but I think it's a great cover, and you know, it was kind of the last amazing cover for a little bit. I mean, the solo albums were great, and you know, Dynasty was okay, Unmasked was cool, But after that, they kind of, I don't know, they got a little bit lazy, I feel, on the covers there for a while, regardless of the content of the records. But Love Gun is such an incredible piece of art as far as the cover goes that I go to it every time that people ask that, because I've had that question asked before. Funny. What is the Kiss album you heard that made you a fan? Funny enough is also Love Gun, because that was the first piece of music that I ever owned, believe it or not, on cassette tape. And it was my first Kiss record, and it's been love at first sight and love ever since. I don't change my opinions a lot over time. I don't look at a lot of music that I liked when I was a kid and say it sucks now. Mind you, a lot of the stuff I liked when I was a kid was good music. I liked Kiss, I liked Cheap Trick, I like Aerosmith, Ozzy. So, you know, it's not that hard to stay consistent when you were into good stuff to start with. So, next up, we have 2 questions related to the guy that brought a lot of you into the channel. We got 2 Vinnie Vincent questions, and hey, you know, let's do it. Let's talk about Vinnie here. Will you do more Vinnie Vincent videos? Well, I'm doing one right now, so there you go. But seriously, I don't know. I mean, he brought a lot of people into the channel, and he was really good for the channel as far as business goes in that regard, if you want to call this a business. And he was doing some interesting things to talk about for a while. I mean, him coming out of hiding was interesting, and then him, you know, booking shows, only to cancel shows, only to change shows, only to move shows, only to cancel it 8 more times, was all interesting to talk about, and I feel it was interesting to try to keep up with, and this channel really became a source for that. But in his current state of being, he's not really doing a lot that's noteworthy or worth talking about. And that's no put down to the guy. He's doing these little gatherings, these little parties, kind of like a mini version of the Gathering of the Juggalos here in Nashville. And, you know, they're $500 a piece to get into. And, you know, everyone's saying that they're really fun. And I think they kind of look interesting. They look kind of fun. I don't know what you would do at those for 3 days at the upcoming one, because it's a 3-day event. And, you know, he's kind of doing the same thing every time. He's kind of rehashing the same stuff, it sounds like, doing Q&As and, you know, supposedly shredding and doing some acoustic music and things of that nature, doing photos and autographs. I mean, you can only get him to sign so many things, but they sound really unique and really cool, and if that's your thing, more power to you. But that being said, there's not a lot to talk about with Vinnie. Now, I have one video that's in my back pocket that I'm going to do at some point about something related to Vinnie that I think a lot of you guys will enjoy. You'll enjoy. I almost did this like a year ago, and then I decided to hold off, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But at some point I'll do that, and we'll see. It's just every time I do the Vinnie videos, they bring up so much negativity, and you know, there's a lot of positivity as well, and I don't think that everyone should ever agree on things when you're talking about someone who's as polarizing as Vinnie Vincent. But with that being said, it just breeds negativity, and I have to remove so many weird and just angry comments when those videos happen that it's almost not worth doing. So maybe is the answer, a solid maybe. And this next question is funny enough related to what I was just talking about, you know, full circle here. What a good segue. Someone asked me, believe it or not, and hey, if you guys want to do this, I'm down for it. He said, would you report on one of those Vinnie parties if we crowdfunded you going? Well, if you guys really wanted to crowdfund me going to one of those, assuming that I could set foot in the door, I'd be down for it. Now, I don't know that I'd be welcome with open arms, and I guarantee that he would not let me film anything there. Mike, over at the RockNRoll Experience, he kind of has a monopoly on that, which is great. His content and getting somewhat of an insider's look at those events is really cool and a really welcome thing, considering he's keeping all press out. But I'm not sure he would welcome me. I mean, I've never said anything super negative about Vinnie compared to some other people on here. I've definitely voiced my opinion on some of his methods of doing business, if you could even call it that, and some of his, you know, canceling things over and over, and his price gouging and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I do like his music, and I still try to keep a positive mind that anybody can change. That being said, I don't know that I'd be welcome. I could see myself buying a ticket and then at the door being denied entrance. But hey, if you guys want to crowdfund it, I will do a whole vlog leading up to the experience and everything else. I'll leave that to you guys, though. I'm not starting that. But hey, if you do it, more power to you. If we do that, maybe we should crowdfund like $800, maybe $1,000, and take the other half and donate to charity or something. You know, something that's a little bit more of a good cause than Vinnie's bank account there. All right, so this last one here, this is the last question, I thought it was a good one to lead off on, was will you attend Kiss's final show in 2021 in New York, regardless of price? That's the key part of that question there, if you ask me. And I don't have an exact answer yet. I also don't know that I believe that'll be the last show, because the wording is very particular on their website. If you really look at it, it says it's something like the last show on the End of the Road tour. but they also are inferring that it's the last show, so we'll see. I don't know. I could see them continuing on after it, and it also depends what they're going to do on the show. When we get more details, you know, there could be something cool that would make it worth going. If they are going to have some of the, you know, previous members or do some other events around it, it could definitely be worth going to, and I've definitely talked about going to it with some friends. I've never been to New York, and that's part of the selling point, and you know, at this point it's still a year and a half away, so there's plenty of time to save money. To me, that sounds more appealing than going on one of the cruises at this point, because you get New York, and they keep changing the cruise and taking stuff out and changing things, and getting New York for a couple days or maybe a week around a amazing Kiss show, that sounds really fun to me. Taking Kiss out of the equation, and even, you know, just going to New York would be really fun, and I've always wanted to do that. I don't know why I haven't been there yet, so maybe is a good solid answer there, but I would really like to is an even more solid answer, and I'm leaning on the side of maybe doing it as another part of the answer, so we'll see what happens. The price is important though, that's kind of one of the keys there in the question, and you know, I'm not gonna pay like $2,000 or anything like that, but I think that they will probably do what they've done with all these other ones and price gouge the meet and greets and the VIP experiences and stuff, and the regular tickets will be expensive but affordable, and maybe I'll do it then. So stay tuned on that to the channel if you want to know if I end up at the final Kiss show a year and a half from now. And there we go, we got through all the questions, and if you submitted something and it somehow wasn't on here, I'm sorry, somehow I didn't see it. I definitely went through my YouTube comments, my Twitter feed, Instagram, Facebook, all those things, and I tried to get everyone, and hopefully I got everyone, but if I didn't get you, ask another question below. Maybe I'll bring it up in another video, or maybe I'll do a part 2 to this down the line. I really enjoyed this. This was a fun video. I know it's been a long one, and if you're somehow still sticking it out here, I applaud you and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys are what makes this channel, you know, keep going the way it is, and you know, hopefully we've got another 3 years in us. You know, 6 years would be insane on here, but you know, as long as YouTube doesn't change the platform too much, I'm in it for a while here. I've got this channel, I've of course got my side channel, Anime Was a Mistake, and I've even got a channel for Night Savers who we mentioned earlier, so you should check all those out. Check out all the channels from me, help me celebrate 3 years of Kimchi Chris in style, and help me grow all those channels, because, you know, it's a Kimchi Chris community, Kimchi Chris revolution, all those fun things. And yeah, we're done here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. I'd love to hear your responses to my responses to your responses. I'll respond to all those. A lot of responses going on. And give this video a thumbs up if you stuck it out this long. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to me. Hit that subscribe button. If somehow you're new around here and you're still here, hit the alarm so you get the updates. Again, my name is Kimchi Chris, and I will see you guys on the next video.